Welcome to the environmental world. A walkthrough experience where SAP shows how they support a sustainable future. Well, let's have a look how it looks. I'm standing here at scene 1. Laura is standing next to me and she's going to explain us the story behind this one.
Yes, welcome. Today I'm going to introduce you Jo. She's 25 years old and she works in the London Zoo. She cares about sustainability and she wants to buy ecological products. It's actually very exciting times for her. She goes on a Tinder date tonight and she has a dilemma because she does not know what to wear. She's planning to buy a cardigan, a woolen cardigan, which she already saw online. She did some research and she found a lookalike, a cheaper one and a bit more expensive one. And you know, London is quite expensive to live and she just graduated. This is her first job. So her first thought is to buy the cheaper one. But what if she could have read the label with a QR code and know that the slightly more expensive one suits her sustainability lifestyle and knows that the sheeps and the wool that are used for that cardigan are carbon neutral and ecological and environmentally friendly, which suits more her lifestyle. That perhaps you would buy that one. Yeah. So that's basically what we're doing here. So I want you to introduce to Nick. He is a farmer and he will tell you something about his carbon neutral sheeps.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Laura. And throughout this journey, we'll see how all the data is gathered so that Jo can make a conscious decision in the end. Let's first head to the farmer. Scene number 2, we're at the farm. And I'm standing here next to Nick. Nick, can you tell us a bit how what is explained over here and what you're showcasing?
Yes, welcome to the farm. It's actually a biological farm. We're a very small farm, so we had to innovate in a different way, meaning differentiating from the very big stables by becoming biological. Yeah. What you can see behind me is indeed that we have foregoing the use of pesticides, using less water, and it's all good and well that we can track this internally. But what's actually quite important, and I'll show you that, also show this externally. So what we're using is the blockchain. It's a technology, you must have heard a lot about it lately.
Yeah.
It's a general ledger and we're using this together with the distributor, with the parlor shops to make sure that indeed, yes, we're using less CO2 and we can use that as a certificate, but that eventually the consumer in the end state can compare the two different jumpers and see indeed this is from Nick's farm and this is ecologically friendly and this is a very different jumper and that's why I can charge a premium using the wool from my farm.
So who will be next in the process?
Next will actually be the buyer, so the person responsible for buying the wool from different vendors.
Okay, perfect. Let's head there next then. So from the farmer we go to the buyer and I'm standing here next to Juriaan. And Juriaan, can you explain us what you do over here?
Yes, Dunja, for me as a buyer it is very important that I know who am I doing business with. Yeah. And that's actually what we can control in this beautiful app, where we can see what we buy, the wool, where we buy it, and then we have the option to tender it into the SAP network of suppliers. And that's actually what we are doing over here. So that you can ask from your supplier the price, emissions, subcontracting, is it allowed or not? All those kind of questions. And this system is also going to give you an overview about what are the risks. What is the risk per supplier if you're doing business with those kind of suppliers? Visualized in a map. Where in the world is the risk high and where it's not so high. And you can even zoom in. You can even zoom in to single suppliers. How high is the risk and how high is the risk of the supplier itself? Yeah. So if you have these kind of information, you can deliver your customer a fair product because you don't want to be in the news like this.
No. So true. And you can really, as a buyer, make a conscious decision for the company and for the future of the world. So what's next?
Well, next is in fact now we have the wool. And we want to produce it. And we can do that also with SAP software. And my colleague Wouter is going to explain you how that works.
We made it to the production facility where I met Wouter. Wouter, can you explain us a bit what's going on over here?
Sure, I can, Dunja. So I'm Wouter, I'm the plant manager. And my job is to keep the operation running as efficient as possible. So we manufacture biological, sustainable products, and as you are aware, if you buy bio products, most of the time they are more expensive. Mm-hmm. So my job is to keep the production costs down, and to keep the price at an affordable level. And also, while my operation lines run very efficiently, we don't have to waste material, so it's much more sustainable as well. So how we do that is I used to bike around the plant to see what the equipment status was, or I got emails and phones of my colleagues. But now I have this app which gives me a real-time view of the plant, and you can see that the layout on the map, You can see where there are alerts. So there are some suspected problems here. I can also see my efficiency of the plant and my KPIs. So the overall equipment efficiency is an important KPI for me, and also the employee attendance and the delayed orders. So this is all based on real-time information and very useful to me.
Very good.
Yeah. So you can see that the alerts attract my attention, and they draw the attention to there. So I can do things.
So it really helps you work more efficiently.
Absolutely.
That's great. And what's next? Also after the production facility?
Yeah, next is supply chain, and I think the guys will be very happy because I have a very efficient production plan, so they can plan whatever they want.
Okay, let's have a look at the next one then. Okay, we made it to the warehouse, and I'm standing next to Twan. And Twan, can you explain us a bit what's happening over here and how you can make an impact?
Yes, today I'm a warehouse manager, so responsible for the warehouse.
Yeah.
And we have also automated robots driving around in the warehouse to help the people that's working to do the picking and to have less physical work, and they can focus on the valuable tasks. But we also have to, unfortunately, maintain the returns. So people buy something and send it back to the store. Or sometimes the stores also are unhappy with the delivery that we have sent them to because it's a wrong delivery, and that's not so good.
Yes, I was ordering for blue jumpers,
Yeah.
and now I'm receiving purple ones.
Oh no. So that's a part of the process that I have to deal with. So there is a return process where I can enter the returns into the system, and I can identify whether it's still good, so we can resell it again, or maybe we have to scrap it. But that's all data, but we want to analyze the data. There we have a dashboard for the warehouse manager to analyze what's going on with all the data. And I see a lot of returns in Europe, so when I drill down in my dashboard, I can see that the corals are sent back, so the color is not good. And that can be due to some sales action, maybe that the blue colors have been promoted by the influencers, and then we have to take that into account. So with the dashboard, we can also inform the salespeople, hey, you have to take that into account and make sure that you have the right stock at the right location, at the right store. Yeah. Maybe even with some machine learning and additional information sources like the temperature, like the rainfall, we can combine it all so that we can have a smarter campaign on selling our nice sweaters.
Okay.
And then we can make our store manager happy again with a new box with the right colors.
Thank you for this.
Okay, this is just great. So next up is the store, I guess, right? Okay, well, let's head there. Okay, so we have seen the farmer, we have seen the procurement department, the production, the warehouse, and now we ended up at the retail store. So let's see, I'm standing next to Parvana, and she's gonna make a decision now.
Yeah, because I am actually playing the role of Jo, who is a customer, and she's actually doubting in between two jumpers. Which one shall I buy? So there is a difference between these jumpers, a price difference. So one is slightly more expensive than the other. However, the more expensive jumper has more information for the customer. So for example, there she finds out, okay, the relationship to the jumper, the entire history of the jumper, where does it come from? So it's from a sustainable, ethical source, and that is something that she really thinks it's important for her. So based on this information, she makes a decision, and it's very simple. She's going for the most sustainable jumper, which is also slightly more expensive. And she decides to share this also with her followers with a discount code that the brand is providing her. And this way she can actually make optimal use of her social media reach as well. Yeah. So this is also a question towards you, Darja. I'm wondering, if you are the end customer and you have two items, one where you know all about the jumper, and the other you barely have information on, what would you choose, even though one is more slightly expensive?
Yeah, I would definitely be with Jo. I hope you too. So thank you very much, Parvana.
Thank you so much.
So that was the environmental world. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, please contact us.